Good afternoon. It's March 22nd. We're at the Hawaii State Capitol, a little after 2 p.m. in conference room 312. We have resolutions. First up is House Concurrent Resolution 43 and its companion, House Resolution number 34. First up we have is DAGS.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Kurt Otaguro, State Comptroller. The Department of Accounting and General Services opposes this measure and offered comments in our testimony and are happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Kurt. Appreciate it. Next up, we have Susan Nicola Davis. Not here?
Not present.
Not present. Thank you. Members, any questions for DAGS? No questions? Okay. Dee?
Yeah, for Kurt. I was reading your testimony kind of briefly, and I was kind of concerned about the part where you're saying that leaks and noxious fumes may be affecting employees.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that?
Sure, Representative, thanks for the question. What we're dealing with obviously is a decades challenge and ongoing problem. And so we have an immediate need, which are to fix the leaks that continue to plague the basement. The second challenge, I know that why the reason for the deflection or deferral of this bill or measure is twofold. One was fiscally, 30 million is certainly a lot of money to spend. And we're not advocating at all to spend that kind of money right now. We understand the state's fiscal issues and challenges. And then the secondary problem is what we actually put back, right? Do we put back water or do we put back something else? Two separate issues, but the matter at hand is really, as we have seen by the draining of the pool on the Diamond Head side of the Capitol. And we did that for twofold. We did that because we had to complete the soffit project, right? Replacement of the ceilings. And so we needed to drain the pool there. But concurrent with that, we wanted to leverage that opportunity to see how bad the cracks were in the lining of the Capitol pool. And so we were able to accomplish that. What happened in that process is as the water evaporated, salt built up, obviously salt over many years because of the brackish water accumulated. And through the rain, water will find its way down no matter what path. And so what we've uncovered, obviously, and we've known this, but what we've uncovered is a lot of hairline cracks that go all over the place. And so what the basement is suffering right now in one side of the basement are really salt buildup that has just been building up in these cracks and crevices that are now coming into the offices. And the salt has some, I wouldn't say it's toxic, but there's some smell to it. And it is unacceptable. Some of it is damaging newly laid carpet, walls, office furniture, and even to the extent of some light fixtures. And thanks to Public Works, they were able to take photos of both the internal and the external that we're happy to send to Chair Kobayashi just to show that a picture speaks 1,000 words. And so the immediate issue and request is really that we have to do something. We need to do the repairs. And the way to do that, we propose a couple of options. One was just do like a roof, just kind of clean it out and put some kind of covering over it so that we would temporarily fix the leak, so to speak, like a roof. That would only last maybe 2 years or 3 years at the most. And so we'd have to address this problem again and not put the water back. The recommended approach that DAG said was to, assuming that we have a structural issue with the lining of the Capitol pool. And so in order to do it right, you have to remove it. But it's just not just the floor, it's the side of the volcano, it's the lighting fixtures that have eroded over years. There's just a lot of different things that have corroded over 50 years that some legislature and administration will have to contend with. And so this is an opportunity for us to really talk through the challenges, but also address a real need, because the longer we don't do anything, I'm not a professional assessment person, but the longer salt gets into the ceilings, the more extensive the damage will be at some point. So that was the point of presenting that in our opposition to the testimony.
All right, thank you so much, Kurt.
Excellent question. Members, any further questions? Yes, Chair Kobayashi.
Also for DAGs. So I just want to have a little understanding of some of the options that are being offered here. So I guess if we're talking about absolute have-to-haves to just as cheap as we can do it, is that what we're looking at with this option one for $10,000 to $20,000 that using the ceiling leak diverters? Does that seem like a realistic stopgap, or is this just too little?
In my humble opinion, it's too little. It'll absolutely stop some of the leaks, but we're still going to have leaks. So why do it if we're still going to have leaks? We can see what's visible, and that's what DAGS has been doing. We're looking on the top, and we're sealing what we can see. From the bottom, it becomes even more, the problem gets exacerbated because we won't catch it until we find where the leak is. So they plug it from the bottom, but then the water will find another leak. And so, you're chasing after years and years of cracks that at some point we just got to bite the bullet and do that repair to the floor, the lining, the entire flooring of the pool, capital pool. So yeah, we can seal it. I'm not guaranteeing, nobody would guarantee that we're going to solve all the leaks.
And for the Diamond Head pool, talking about the temporary waterproofing, that one we're looking at maybe $500,000 to $1 million, something like that. Is that similarly deficient, do you think, or is that are we talking as really a deficient temporary solution for this one as well?
Right, that would help more because we would actually put a coating, clean it out, put a coating over it. So you would I don't know what percentage we would catch, but we would catch a larger percentage than just managing it in place. But that would be $1 million per pool. And so when we get to the Evo side, we'd have to spend another $1 million or so. But again, that even if we caught it, there'd still be some leaks, and we'd have to do it again in a couple of years or 3 years at the most. We just have to wait and see, right?
And then so, same with option 3, you're looking at the $6 billion per pool.
Right.
That's also temporary. And in the long run, it sounds like the total cost would go higher if you do these temporary solutions because it's not a fix, it's just a stopgap.
Well, the recommended approach of option 3 is highly recommended because that'll fix the structural issues and dig it out, replace it, seal it, and fix everything that we can see from the top. Now, what we're not committing to, we're building for putting a layer up so we would have less water if that's what we wanted to do. Or we have an opportunity, I guess, to relook and talk to SHPD about what else, because it's a historic building, what else is possible there, but we still need to fix the roof, right? We still need to fix above the basement, and to do that would take option 3. And yes, it's more money, but that's like re-roofing your house.
Well, that still comes short of the 30 million original estimate, right? We're looking at 12 million for both pools for option 3.
Right, and that would solve the issue of structural issues. We're not, and at that point, we have to come back and have a different discussion, which is what the bill is asking. What do we want to put back there? It's obvious the recommendation has been to replace it with water, and those have their difference of opinions as to should we put back water or should we put back water-like feature, which might be more effective, more efficient. But that's a different decision. But the option 3 recommended that from DAGS is really would get you to that point where we don't have to make that decision yet, the ultimate replacement of the reflecting pools. But it would solve our issue of the leaks.
Okay, no, I got you. Thanks, Kurt. That's really clarifies.
Thanks. Thank you. Representative, thank you very much, Chair. Representative Komodo, did you have questions? Okay, Kurt, I had a couple of questions. I contacted the author of the bill, Representative Sayama, and I had asked if I could get his permission to perhaps make amendments to the concurrent resolution as well as his resolution. He supported it, and so if I can read you the proposed amended title, requesting the Department of Accounting and General Services to work with the legislature to ensure the most cost-effective and efficient necessary renovations of the Hawaii State Capitol reflecting pool. This is to take in consideration the immediate needs to address the health and safety of the people that are in the basement under that pool, and of course the long-term structural needs, repairs or renovations for the Capitol pool. Kurt, would you be open to that? Again, should we pass this resolution, it goes on to the Finance Committee, and the introducer sits in that committee. Would you be okay with the change with the title?
Yes.
Okay, one last thing. Thank you, Kurt. I would like to put in the committee report if you're okay with this, that DAGS is willing to work with the author of HCR 43 HR 34 in crafting the most efficient and cost-effective manner to address repairs related to structural and waterproofing concerns of the Hawaii State Capitol reflecting pool. Would that be okay?
That would be okay. I would tell you, Representative, I guess we can certainly study it more. I think over the decades, the Capitol pools have been studied, and that's fine. And there, as I said before, there's all those difference of opinions as to what to replace it with. What I would ask is that whatever we work with the representative on is conclusive, and so we can take action. If the legislature is going to afford us any funding to fix, we want to fix the problem. We don't want to hire a consultant to tell us options, because I think we know the options, and we want to draw a conclusion. And so if the representative is willing to work with us to come to that conclusion and execute, yes, I'm all for that.
Absolutely. And I think it's a great partnership because he does sit in the Finance Committee. And if this measure passes out of this committee, it goes to Finance next. So I think it's a good partnership, and it's something that I think both of you can work on. In fact, you'll be representing the House. So we appreciate you being open to this. And that would probably be my recommendation for the.
We will also include Representative Shipty or DLNR, because there'll be an integral part of it as we guide through the final recommendation. We have to keep it is a historic facility.
Yes, I saw that in your testimony. The reason I'm not going to put that in the committee report or the bill is I don't want it to get a multiple referral. So perhaps in Finance, since it's the last committee, if they were to hear it, they can put that in their committee report when it crosses. So therefore, when it crosses to the Senate, the other committees might be able to have a bite at the apple. But the reason I'm not putting that in this measure as an amendment is I don't want to force another committee to be added on, because it'll reduce the chances of this measure crossing over to the Senate.
I understand, Vice Chair, and I agree. Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you. Thank you for being open to this. Any further questions, members? Are you guys okay with? Okay. Kurt, we wanted to thank you very much. Appreciate you being open to this, and looking forward to you working with our colleague in the House on this very important issue that's been affecting us for years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative.
Thank you, members. We're going to move on to the last measure on the agenda, House Concurrent Resolution number 110. First up, we've got the Office of the Auditor. Not present? Okay, thank you. Next up, we've got HMSA. Not present. Okay, thank you. Next up, Blake Oshiro.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Blake Oshiro. I'm sorry, good afternoon. Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Blake Oshiro on behalf of the Hawaii Society of Clinical Oncology. We want to thank you for scheduling this resolution. And so we will stand on our written testimony and be available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Blake. Next up, we've already called HMSA Joyce Rennick. Not present. Okay, provided testimony in support. That, I believe, is all of our testifiers. Members, are there any questions for Blake Oshiro? Okay, if not, thank you, Blake. We're gonna recess for decision-making. Recess. Okay, we're back on. This is for the March 22nd decision-making on the resolutions before us. Before I start, I wanted to thank Chair Kobayashi for allowing me to run this hearing. Thank you, Representative. Thanks, Chair Kobayashi. Appreciate it. So members, for the first measures on the agenda, it's House Concurrent Resolution number 43, House Resolution number 34. Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. We're going to change the title to be very inclusive, requesting Department of Accounting and General Services to work with the legislature to ensure the most cost-effective and efficient necessary renovations to the Hawaii State Capitol reflecting pool. In addition, I wanted to place in the committee report that DAGS will be working with the author of the resolutions in crafting the most efficient and cost-effective manner to address repairs related to structural and waterproofing concerns of the Hawaii State Capitol reflecting pool. Okay, members, any questions? Anything to add? Any comments? If not, thank you, Mr. Chair. Could you please take the vote?
Yes. So for HCR 43, Chair's recommendation is to pass as amended. The Chair and Vice Chairs both voting aye. Representative Bellotti,
Aye.
Representative Morikawa,
Aye.
Representative Okimoto.
Aye.
Okay, HCR 43 is passed as amended.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members. Next measure on the agenda is House Concurrent Resolution number 110. Recommendations to pass with amendments. Members, this is the following amendment on page 2, lines 30 and 39. This relates to a person being diagnosed with cancer will undergo treatment that, and then we're going to change may adversely affect the person's fertility to will most likely cause infertility based on the medical determination of patient's physician. And in the committee report, we'd like to highlight the need for an update to the auditor's report number 12-09. This was completed back in 2012 on information to assess the cost and viability to offer or possibly not offer such a procedure, as such coverage may increase the overall healthcare insurance cost for the entire pool. We'd also like to note the auditor's assertion that a sunrise analysis pursuant to HRS section 23-52 is needed to determine the social and financial impacts of the potential added coverage. And finally, in the committee report, we want to note that 10 states have already enacted fertility preservation coverage. Should CPC committee decide to hear HCR 110, we'd like them to please consider coverage policy as it relates to constitutional rights, such as but not limited to the fundamental right to life. As pointed out and identified by the Alliance of Fertility Preservation's testimony, the ethical concern that now remains is inequitable access that currently exists due to the lack of insurance coverage. Does this mean that only patients with sufficient financial means can access such procedures? That's the question that we'd like CPC to look at should they hear this. Okay, members, anything to add? Any questions? You're okay? Okay. Okay, recommendation passed with amendments. Mr. Chair, can you please take the vote?
Sure. Voting HCR 110, Chair's recommendation and Vice Chair is to pass as amended. Do we have any no votes? Any with reservations? Resolution is passed.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members. We're now adjourned.